Thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken.
Years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bob.
They say, damn. Hey, listen to those mics, DC. He's like, wait a minute, shush. It's really hot. Good to be back in studio, and good Monday to you. I know somebody once told me back in the day when I was doing the morning news, I would say, good morning, good Monday morning, or whatever. And they're like, it's Monday. There's no such thing as a good Monday. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there really is. And I've had a lot of good Mondays. This is going to be a good one. What's up? And welcome to it. Glad you're with us this morning on The Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta. No JJ today. Ryan Kazmierski is in for JJ. I will introduce you to him. You've heard Ryan's takes on our show. You've seen Ryan's work on our show. And what's up, man? Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you living?
So far, so good.
All right. So, DC, here's the deal on our guy Ryan today. Ryan flew in from Dallas yesterday. He's in town. Big event today, DC. Big, giant day today. New Mexico Bulls golf tournament today. But Ryan, amongst other things, does all the media relations for New Mexico Bowl and a bunch of other events, works for Breakaway Sports. And how do you explain when I've explained what you do. What do you do in the fall? Like you travel a lot. What do you do? How do you explain what you do?
We handle all of the marketing and PR for the College Football National Championship Trophy for Dr. Pepper, the naming sponsor of the trophy.
So specifically, what does that mean for you?
So we travel. We'll hit different stores, different, what are they called? Trade shows. And then during the weekends, we're always in a market for a game. And we have 2 appearances for the public to come check them out at
to see the
stores
trophy, right?
On Fridays. And then on the game Saturday, we'll either be on game day if they're there. If they're not, the trophies on the sideline during the game. So when you see that pan through in the second, third, fourth quarter, that's the real trophy that's given away at the end of the year.
So you're kind of the keeper of the trophy.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, right? Have you ever seen the Stanley Cup? Have you ever like taken a picture? You know, the dude that travels around with the white gloves and the keeper of the cup.
Absolutely, yes.
That's kind of what he is with the national championship trophy for college football.
That sounds like an awesome job.
That's kind of cool. Now, there's some really good spots, but then he'll call me from like some little town in the South. Yeah, we're at Walmart today because we got, right, you got some Dr. Pepper promotion we're at Walmart in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Columbus, Mississippi or something.
Right. So,
you take the ups with the downs. It still sounds awesome.
I did miss one. He invited me one. So his partner, was it last year or 2 years ago? It was the Red River rivalry. And it was one of those classic OU Texas games
2 years ago. That was the Caleb Williams when he came in and led them all the way back.
It was, and he's like, just come on out and just and Addie had like a district or it was the Metro Championship she's running, and my kid, I got like 3 more left, and so I stayed here and watched the Metro Cross Country Championships and missed that OU Texas game. But we'll get into. I mean, it's a pretty good gig, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself like that's kind of a dream.
It's kind of a cool gig.
Yeah.
Now you got to take care of the trophy. You have to fight off the idiots a lot. Like look, everybody want to touch it? What's protocol when people see? Because with the Stanley Cup, you can't touch it, right? You can take a picture with it. You can kind of be close, but you can't touch it.
Do not touch.
What's the deal with the national championship trophy?
Same type of deal. We don't want anyone to touch it. You're able to get up really close to it, and we don't put a plexiglass thing around it or anything. But yeah, we don't like people touching it because it's really hard to clean.
Yeah,
more than anything.
I'll bet. How many dudes? Is it you and somebody else, or is it just you have security?
So during midweeks, it's me and or it's whoever's with it, and that's usually it. The Dr. Pepper sales guys in the local markets will be there, and then obviously the store dedicates a person as well. But on the weekends, it's always 2 people, just because you're always around a lot more people, and you just never know.
What's the biggest problem you've ever had with it? Have you ever to get physical with some fool?
Honestly,
really,
all the way back to the Crystal football days, we were set up outside of a Florida State game one night, and some drunk student trailing a cooler came walking through, and we had to kind of like step in front of him. But that's really it. For the most part, people are pretty respectful.
I just think back to the day. I might have been an idiot.
Oh my goodness! I think about Nick Saban spiking the crystal ball.
Yeah, how about
that? The only 2 crystal footballs that ever broke were not in our care.
They were not in your care?
No.
All right. I just imagine, like, you've never had to get physical, push some dude off. Nobody's tried to take it.
No, not really. Especially this one. This one's worse because it's 50 pounds.
So it's hard. And it's kind of hard to just put in your backpack.
Very far, yeah.
How tall is it?
It's about 3 feet tall.
Yeah, so you can't just stuff it in your backpack, pretend nobody sees, like the crystal ball.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Ryan's in today. We're here for you. If you got any questions about it, I mean, it is kind of a cool gig. But Ryan's the one, if you recall, 2 seasons ago when the College Football Playoff Championship, not when they beat TCU 65-7, but the year before when they beat Alabama. It was a closer game, and he was down in Athens with the trophy, and it was getting presented that day. And he's the one who took the picture of the trophy listening to the opening drive that you see on our social media. It was kind of cool. It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Good weekend. Lots of baseball stuff. So I got a story for you. I will get into this one later. The Mets Phillies game was nuts, but it's got a little something to you. Interesting local stuff. DC United win 2-1. Did you see Armando Moreno's goal? Armando Moreno was number 3 on SportsCenter's top plays on Saturday night.
No, I did not, but I will check it out.
It was a beautiful bicycle kick. I was telling Brian, like, even if you're not a big soccer fan, soccer highlights can be cool.
A bicycle kick is awesome.
It was awesome, and they broke their 5-match winless streak. They win for the first time in over a month. United beats Colorado Springs. Now, they held on. I mean, Colorado Springs was buzzing, and it had a lot of opportunities at the end. But United holds on 2-1. They move up from 11th to 10th in the table, still 2 spots out of the playoffs, but they have games at hand against most of the teams in front of them. And so they ended their 3-match homestand 1-1-1, and they'll hit the road. Rough weekend for the Isotopes. They've lost 6. They got swept 6 in a row in Reno. And their pitching has just been getting battered all over the place. But then you look at the big club. Would you tell me the score was on Saturday? 24-1?
25-1.
25. What? All right, we were having this conversation. He's a big LSU guy. You're a big Rocky guy. 25-1 or 24-4? I mean, does it matter?
Oh man, when you're talking football scores, it's all bad.
You know what? One's a hard number to hit in football. Really hard number. But I mean, damn.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And then they came, but so this is your hope, Ryan. Rockies came back and won yesterday. They lose the night before 24-1 and win yesterday 4-3, right?
I believe that's correct. I know they did win.
Right? So LSU yesterday, we're playing golf. Man can hit a golf ball. And 1 o'clock puts the game on. He's got his LSU stuff. He's a Louisiana guy. And by about the 5th inning, he's like, yeah, I'm done.
You know, that's tough. I grew up in Kenner, so I always keep an eye on LSU, and it is tough to see a big loss like that, especially in the championship series.
So what were you saying?
That is my hometown.
Kenner, Louisiana?
Kenner,
Look at
Louisiana.
you boys.
So you've been to the Saints Hall of Fame then?
Oh, no doubt. My dad used to work for the Saints when I was growing up.
Oh, that's awesome. I went there on a field trip in first grade
Yep.
when they first opened, 87 or
It was
88.
the first time you were there. Probably you going with Daddy to
when I
work,
was
right?
2.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
See the
It's
flat toe? It's awesome.
the Tom Dempsey flat toe is in the
Yes,
Saints Hall of
sir.
Fame.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's the Saints Hall of Fame. There's not a whole lot.
fair
of
enough.
note.
No, fair enough.
Him,
You got
him and Archie Manning.
Archie
pretty
Manning,
much.
right?
Yeah.
and no winning. Who else after Tom Dempsey? He kicked the 63-yarder and became a Ram. And for those of you who don't remember, Tom Dempsey had a clubbed foot. He had no toes, and they had a special shoe created. So, is him and Mark Mosley the last of the straight-on kickers
The toe
Be-
punchers.
before they went to soccer-style kick? I mean, is there been anybody who's tried it in the last 20, 30 years?
Not that I can recall.
So he was a straight-on kicker. So when I say that, think of any kicker you see now. It's a soccer style, right? He's coming from the side and kicks it with the inside of his foot. Tom Dempsey had a flat shoe made. So there was a metal plate on a flat shoe. You look at your shoe and it's rounded. He didn't have toes, so it was a flat shoe, and he went straight on. And wasn't there a time where people were arguing that there was some sort of advantage because there was a metal plate on there? I want to say that's right.
It sounds right. I'm just having a hard time recalling who might have brought that up.
And he kicked the 63-yarder at Tulane Stadium. Is that right? Back in the old days? 63-yarder. And it lasted for a long time, that record.
Yeah,
I don't even know who holds the record now. Is it 65 and was it done in Denver?
I believe it is Elam. I thought it was 64, but
I want to say someone went 65 somewhat recently.
Tucker, I think it's Tucker. Sounds like
Is that
possible.
right?
It might have been in
In Denver?
Denver.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot to do today. Let me give you phone numbers. 505-246-0610. Different day, no JJ. Although JJ's getting ready. JJ's playing the big golf tournament today. I mean, he went out, got his clubs clean. He might even, I'm not tucking my shirt in, but he might even tuck his shirt in today. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even sure. He's going to wear a collared shirt and everything. 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. That is the 377 Brewery Hotline. It is also the Sports Animal text line. Want to hear your thoughts on the weekend. We're going to go through everything from what happened in the NFL and Travis Kelce saying, Jamar Chase, keep my quarterback's name out your mouth, to the craziness that was baseball, college, and pro. We will hit on the Stanley Cup goalie's new number and what he gets re-up for, but just a little perspective on that for you. Victor Wembanyama's made a little news on what he's not going to do. Keegan Bradley made a little history, and the Gladiators were winners this weekend too. So we got a ton to do, and I'm looking forward to having the conversations with you. It's just good to be back in studio, dude. It was just a weird end of the week. I don't know if y'all. It was pretty smooth, right? I mean, we had some issues technically, so
we made it work.
Yeah, we're remoting from home last week, and it's good to be back in. When we come back, a crazy game in Philly yesterday. So it was a mid-season baseball game. All right, fine. But how do you score 4 runs, have 10 batters come to the plate in one inning to win, and get just one hit? That happened yesterday, and I've got the ball to prove it. Well, I don't yet, but I'll explain it to you next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 630 Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports analysis, pop culture.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Is that Phillies radio or Mets radio? I was trying to get the homerism on. I got the Phillies radio. What an unbelievable. DC? What if I told you I got a picture of my little girl sitting behind the Mets dugouts last night with a ball, yesterday afternoon with she got a ball at that game.
That is awesome.
So we're out yesterday playing golf, and she's back east, and she kind of explained to me it was a crazy game, but I get that. Here, I'll show it to you if you're on the ProView Network. There's
that is just so awesome.
What was that ballpark called in Philly? Whatever it's called. she went to a game with her mom yesterday. She's looking at colleges, and she shows me that. She's like, they were right behind the Mets dugout, and I guess one of the Mets players threw a ball between innings to some of the Mets fans who, imagine this, fought over it, fumbled it, it hit a dude in the back. What did she tell me? Right, rolled down 3 rows, and she ran and picked it up, and she got the ball. Right?
Citizens Bank Park.
That sounds right. Yeah, she said, and as soon as the game ended, it started pouring. So what you just listened to, and this is why, in baseball they tell you, right, it's never over. In other games, there's a clock. Now maybe when you're down 15-4. When did you turn the TV off yesterday?
I think it was 15-3.
All right, so at 15-3, it's kind of over, but you still kept checking just in case, right?
Yeah. Well, and then I stopped checking at 20-3.
Yeah, fair enough. You got a final. But baseball didn't have a clock, right? And so you never know. Well, Philadelphia was down big, and they scored 4 runs, sent 10 batters to the plate, walked 3 times, got hit twice, got on error. 10 batter, 4-run 8th inning. They win 7-6. The Mets just completely fell apart. I know people are yelling and screaming in New York. Buck Showalter needs to be out. They're trying to get Buck Showalter fired as the manager there. I don't know. Is that at some point? Who do you point it at? Is it the manager? Is it he left the pitcher in too long? Did he make the error at third base? When you start listening, when a team's losing, right? When a team's losing, you struggle. And who's going? And this is the Mets every year, is it not?
100%. This is them until at least the All-Star break.
This is the Mets every year. Big, giant expectations. The Mets are 7 games under 515 games out of first place. But this is going to be the year. And you know why? Because they're New York. Every year I got to listen to this crap. The Mets are going to be something. Buck Showalter make it through the year?
No.
How quickly?
All-Star break.
You think they fire him at the All-Star break?
Maybe a little after.
Is this his fault? Are they that talented? Everybody, I keep hearing they went and spent a ton of money on 2 old men pitchers, right?
Yep.
On Verlander and Scherzer, 2 guys who are Hall of Famers. But
they still only pitch every 5 days
when they're lucky.
Yep.
When these old guys are lucky, like they're both like 39, right? 39, 40 years old. I mean, we're resting 23-year-olds. So they don't go
38 and 40.
38 and 40. So that's both like 39. Yeah.
2 highest paid pitchers in baseball.
Right. And so that's where they spent all their money on these 2 old men who were, by the way, fantastic throughout their whole career. How do you expect in these 2 38 and 40-year-old guys to turn around all this futility? And they're going to fire Buck Showalter? Because it's his fault?
Cheapest option.
And you're still going to be brutal. You're still going to be horrible. All right, you have a stat. This is a pretty amazing one. And this, again, I'm going to go back. This should be very, very encouraging for LSU fan. LSU wins game 1 of the College World Series against Florida 2 nights ago. Was it 2-0 in 11 innings?
4-3.
4-3 in 11 innings. They get beat yesterday 24-4. They each count for 1. Rockies over the weekend got beat 24-1 by the Angels on Saturday. Won yesterday 4-3. What's that number you just came up with?
The Angels outscored them 32-12 in 3 games and lost the series.
The Angels outscored the Rockies 32-12 and lost 2 of the 3 games. You feeling okay about that? As you were saying yesterday, keep scoring, waste them all, boys.
Yep.
Right?
Knock them, keep knocking them in. Just don't waste the pitching on the other side.
You know what it's like? I was trying to explain this to my mom. I'm going to compare it to American politics. And if you want to get in, the 377 Brewery hotline is 505-246-0610. The Sports Animal text line, same number, 505-246-0610. So back in a presidential election, she was upset that the person who won, but he didn't win the popular vote. I said, it doesn't matter. He won the Electoral College. Well, but we need to change it. Why? Because your guy lost? Like that's not the rules. I said, Mom, and she was a big Dodger fan. I said, look, the Dodgers could play I think they played the Cubs in the National League Championship Series that year. Does that sound close to right? And I said, Mom,
Yes.
That's not how it goes. So the Cubs outscored the Dodgers in that series, but the Dodgers won 4 games. Do you see the point? It's not trying to explain, but do you see my correlation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like American politics. They can score all the runs they want in one game and lose 2 out of 3.
Fingers crossed.
What's going to happen tonight? Are you bringing back your number 1 draft pick? Is he going to pitch tonight?
You almost have to, but he's going to get to make that decision. Baseball is one of those weird sports where, the draft is in 2 weeks and he's going to go 1-1, 1-2.
So talk about your guy, because he's a pretty special player.
He's great.
Is it
great.
Skeen?
Yeah, Paul Skeens. I think when he threw Thursday night, 46% of his pitches were over 100 miles an hour.
It's insane.
He's got that. He's got an 88 mile an hour slider. He's all over the place. He's huge. Averaged something like 13 and a half strikeouts a game.
So he's the number 1 overall pick. It's 1 game winner take all College World Series.
But he pitched Thursday.
He pitched Thursday today. So he's 1, 2. So what has he got?
3
2
days.
innings in him? 3 innings?
He has whatever he wants. It's going to.
And then he's got 3 to 4 weeks of rest coming out of it.
At least.
Lawrence, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How are you, Lawrence?
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good. What's happening?
I wanted to talk to you about the Mets.
Go.
Lifelong Mets fan here.
I'm sorry,
They're not
man.
going to fire Buck Showalter. It's not his fault.
It's not, but
Buck Showalter, he can't control that Edwin Diaz doesn't know how to celebrate and blows his knee out.
How about that?
And that caused a huge problem because they had Robertson that was supposed to be 8th inning. Ottavino was supposed to be 7th. Yesterday, we had to watch, I don't even know if they're AAA relievers. I can't say the word I want to say, but give it up.
Thank you.
And it's caused a problem. He's overusing Robertson because he has to as a closer, and Ottavino hasn't been as effective. Earlier in the year, the bats weren't as good. They're starting to come around. They've lost 14 times after scoring 6 or more runs. It's on pitching, and it's not Scherzer. If you pay attention, Scherzer is pitching well, very well. The problem is Carrasco is not pitching well, and you have some others that they were counting on with McGill and Peterson, who are both back at AAA, to fill in.
So
He can't control that.
I agree with you when you say that, because I don't think Buck should get fired, but I got a weird feeling he's going to. I mean, right? The management's going to look at it and go, "Yeah, that's fine," but why was Jeff Brigham still in there throwing balls at Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner? Well, who else has he got to go to? Like, I'm with you, and I don't think Scherzer's been bad. I don't think Verlander's been good. But you got one guy goes out celebrating and he blows out his knee. I didn't think they were that good to begin with, but I'm sold the Mets every year. I just didn't buy. But did you watch it yesterday? Like, if you were watching it as a Mets fan, you had to sit there and vomit in your mouth.
No, I did watch it. I watch every game. It was, you hope, you keep your fingers crossed. Leon came in yesterday, did a good job. That kid that was going to middle school 2 years ago, I can't remember his name, Hartwig, I think. He comes in and throws 2 innings, but you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
And it did.
These guys are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in the bullpen once you get past Ottavino and Robertson. And then, because they seem to have a problem with sticky substances and umpires, their third best reliever, Drew Smith, is still on the 10-day suspended list.
That's right. All right, man. Don't be a stranger. Hang in there.
All right.
It's just I say it's almost just baseball, but I know, man. Being a fan is a big deal. Appreciate you, Lawrence. Good to hear you. How about Met fan find your way? If you watch that and you're a big fan, I mean, that's got to make you vomit in your mouth. But you sit there and go, well, it's still just July, but it's a division game on the road, and when you're 15 back, now you're fighting for a wild card. Everything kind of matters, right?
No doubt.
I mean, I just look at it. How about that was the game my kid went to? I don't even think she realizes what she saw.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself. Like that's a memory for a lot of people,
right?
Yeah, that's a very cool one to attend.
Yeah,
hopefully she does understand it, because that is one you'll tell your friends about in college.
Yeah, she kind of. We'll talk about it. She was wearing her Duke City Scorpions lacrosse hat, which happened to be red, and so the lady I'm glad a Philly fan got it instead of the Mets fans, and she's trying to. Well, no, I'm neutral here, man. I'm from the Borque. She was wearing a New Mexico baseball jersey. That's a good one to be at, though, man. A good one to be. It's kind of special. All right. Meanwhile, last night, Freddie Freeman hit a milestone. Not many active players have done this, but it was a kid from Albuquerque, New Mexico who stole the show at the Dodgers-Astros game last night. That's next on that. What do we call it? The opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Eastbound I-40.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
600 home runs in, 3,000 hits in, 300 wins. Well, no pitchers are getting 300 wins anymore. Nobody. No, it's just not happening anymore because guys don't pitch enough innings. It just used to be magical numbers, and baseball more than anything else is all about numbers. The 2,000 hit club is Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, Nelson Cruz, Elvis Andrus, and Andrew McCutchen. Those are the active players. He's the 8th player to reach the 2,000 hit mark in a Dodger uniform. If I gave you some of these names, some of them you'll go, oh, that makes sense. Some of them you won't know, and some of them you'll go, he did it as a Dodger? These are the guys, according to Elias, and Elias never is wrong, right? Here's the guys who have hit 2,000, got their 2,000th hit as a Dodger. Maury Wills. You know Maury Wills? Old shortstop from the late 60s, early 70s. He was the best base stealer in baseball until Lou Brock came along and then Ricky Henderson came along. So Maury Wills was a great shortstop. Willie Davis was a great Dodger. Gary Carter. Remember Gary Carter?
Yeah.
The Mets Expos catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Got his 2,000th hit as a Dodger. Brett Butler traveled around. He was an outfielder. Tim Wallach did his a Dodger. Jeff Kent did it as a Dodger. And Adrian Gonzalez. I don't know. That list means nothing. It's just kind of an interesting one because you look around and go, gosh, guys, you guys move around so much, and everybody's a Dodger at some point, it seems like.
Well, even with Freddie, you say Freddie's a Brave, right?
He's a Brave.
Yeah.
He's a Brave. How old is Freddie Freeman?
33.
So he's got, this is his second or third year at the Dodgers? Second.
This is second.
What if he's
never had 200 hits in a year?
What if he does 7 years with the Dodgers and they win a World Series? Will he be remembered when he goes to Cooperstown? He's a Hall of Famer. Is he a Dodger or a Brave? I mean, it's up to him, but what would you remember him as?
It's probably still a Brave.
Really?
I think so. I mean, and it's easy to say sitting here now watching him play 10 years, 11 years with the Braves.
Yeah, but if he goes 7, 8 years with the Dodgers, wins a World Series, I mean, there's a few guys where you look at him and go, well, he's associated with that team. I know because in pro sports and especially baseball now, nobody's a one-team guy. There's no Tony Gwynn's and Cal Ripkins anymore, right? I mean, you got anybody right now that you even can think of that might be that guy?
No.
Pujols? Nope.
Molina?
Yeah, Molina with St. Louis. I just, Jeter was, right? I mean, the Jeters, the Gwynns, the Ripkins, who we got?
Altuve and Bregman would be the next ones. But they still haven't been around long enough to really justify that.
I mean, Alex is, 28? I think Altuve's a year older. They've been around long enough to justify, I mean, gosh. Feels like Alex has been around a long time now. If they stay there, but what are the odds they will?
Both of them probably not very high.
Right? They broke up and Carlos Correa's gone. It just doesn't happen. There's been plenty of guys that you look around and you associate with one team, and then there's a few where it's hard to decipher. Like what's Alex Rodriguez? I don't know if he's ever going to get in the Hall of Fame, but do you think of him as a Mariner? Do you think of him as a Yankee? Do you think of him as a Ranger?
It's funny you bring up the Rangers. I think of it as a giant waste of money for the Rangers.
Well, he was
Yankee.
the first $250 million contract, right?
Yeah.
And the Yankees took that deal. But Barry Bonds
left the Rangers to pay most of it.
Is Barry Bonds a Pirate or is he a Giant?
Giant.
I mean, does it matter where you're from? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, when you think of Justin Verlander, what are you going to think of him? Or Max Scherzer?
Verlander, I think Tigers.
I think Tigers too. Scherzer?
That's a tough one.
Right?
Yeah, that's a real tough one.
Right? I mean, think of some of the great players in today's game that will be Hall of Famers, but where are you placing them? Are they? I mean, they came up with this team, and I mean, I even think like some of the Dodgers have come up and I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Chris Bryant, he's a Cub, right? He's not a Rocky.
He's played what, like 3 games for the Rockies?
I know. In how many years? I know.
He's made plenty of money though.
Yeah, Tony, you're on the Sports Channel. What's up, Tony?
Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Excellent. What's happening?
Gary Carter. I think Gary Carter. I think the Mets. I don't think the Expos.
I think Expos. But
I sure as HE double hockey sticks don't think Giants or Dodgers.
No, that's right.
Because he played for both.
Yeah, but he won with the Mets. That was that 80. What was it? 87 team.
86.
86. Yeah.
But here's my thing to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys. Freddie Freeman. He's a Hall of Famer. What makes him a Hall of Famer?
I think by the time he gets there, he stays healthy. He's putting up big numbers. He won a World Series. He was he's consistently good. Like I think in that game, numbers matter more than in any other game.
So if he was to get injured, say today, God forbid, of course, you don't want that, and he doesn't ever play again, does he still get in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, the Hall of Fame has been watered down so bad in all sports.
Yep.
Anybody can get in now. You just like 500 home runs. You get 500 home runs, you're automatically guaranteed to be in the Hall of Fame. And here's one thing: Hank Aaron. Okay, Hank Aaron. I don't think he ever hit more than 30. Was it that he never hit more than 30 in a year? But how many years did he play?
Yeah, I don't know if I think that's right, Hank Aaron. I'll look that up. But all right, so here. Who's going in this year? Fred McGriff, right? Is Fred McGriff a Hall of Famer?
Is Fred McGriff a Hall of Famer?
I never thought of Fred McGriff as a Hall of Famer.
No. It's just like in football. Okay, same thing in football. Look, you know me. You know how much I love my Broncos.
Yep.
But was Terrell Davis a Hall of Famer?
I didn't think so, but he is.
No. Rod Smith. I thought Rod Smith should be in the Hall of Fame, and he hasn't gone there.
Scott Rowland. That's this year's Hall of Fame class is Scott Rowland.
I don't see him as a Hall of Famer.
I don't either. No, I'm with you on this.
When I think Hall of Fame, I think you have to be the best of the best for an extended period of time. Not just, he had 3 good years, let's throw him in the Hall. No. You have to be one of those, the best of the best. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. By the way, Hank Aaron hit 40 home runs in 73, 47 in 71, 44 in 69, 44 in 66. Now, he hit over 40 a number of times.
Okay. So that's what it was. Because they had something special on him on ESPN the other day.
Yeah.
And they were talking about his numbers and how his numbers aren't very impressive, but he was just for a long period of time.
That's not right. I mean, like in 57, he hit, and this is when the ball wasn't flying out like they are now. 44 home runs, 132 RBI. In 60,
when he hit those 44, what year was that?
That was 57. Then he hit 40 and 126 in 1960, 45 and 128 in 62, 44 and 130 in 62.
It was a lot harder to hit it back then.
Yeah, no, Hank Aaron is amazing.
No.
Yeah, no,
All right,
that's not right.
You guys have a good day, okay?
Later. Yeah, I when he said that, I'm like, that just can't be right, can it? Do the numbers add up? You know what I'm saying? I just, you look, first of all, Hank Aaron played from 54 to 76. Now, granted, in 76, he played 85 games of DH with the Brewers. And he was done, and he hit 10 home runs. But still, in 73, so that is his, 20th year? In 73, he hit 40 home runs and drove in 96 runs, played 120 games. I mean, and that's before dudes were hitting 55 on regular basis and balls were jumping out of the yard.
He made 21 All-Star games.
It's insanity. When we have the conversation about best ever, and baseball's hard because it's so different, right? I mean, is it Babe Ruth? Willie Mays was unbelievable. And by the way, Mays, go back and look at some Willie Mays stuff. Willie Mays was the first 5-tool guy that you looked around and just went, that's stupid. But Hammerin' Hank was real, dude. He was real. And yeah, when he said that, now it looks like the most he ever hit in one season was 47. And that year he had 118 RBI. But he hit 47, 40, 44, 44, 44, 45, 40, 44. Like, I mean, the least he hit when he got started after his first 3 years was, 30, 29? No, dude hit the ball.
Look at his game usage, too.
I know,
153, 150.
I know. Right, they're playing 100. He played,
160, 161.
Yeah. 158, 155, 147. Yeah, dude played. All right, keep them coming. 505-246-0667. That is the 377 Brewery hotline. We're going to stay here for a minute. This year's Hall of Fame class, and it's coming up here next month. Fred McGriff, Scott Rowland. How do you feel about that? Are those guys really Hall of Famers? I'll tell you what I think. I think I already did. I want to know what you think. On 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Dream style stucco. Stucco is the way to go. A Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect combination. Your favorite color, your favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream style stucco.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke.
Next at 10 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Text line 505-246-0610 says the Mets are the Cleveland Browns of Major League Baseball. He might not be wrong. The Mets have won way more recently than the Cleveland Browns. The Mets won, but I mean that's hype every year and not very good. They're a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes. All right, and we're kind of having a conversation about guys who are what is a Hall of Famer, and I want to go through some of the guys that are going to be on the ballot this year, but I wanted to do this first. Lenny, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Lenny.
Good. How you guys doing? So let's go. I wanted to talk NBA, but we can talk baseball. The 2023 class.
Thank you.
Roland is probably one of the worst selections you could find.
Yeah, I'm not big on that
either. Okay, this was picking the best of the worst because you had no one else to get to the 75%.
That's what Ryan just said. He said it's voting for the sake of voting.
Okay, it would have been better if they didn't vote at all, and then you get like McGriff, and he gets voted in by the Errors Committee. But McGriff to Roland, you can compare their numbers. McGriff is that much better of a player. 493 homers to 314, more RBIs, average is about the same. I still think McGriff was a better player.
All right.
But he almost reached that plateau of the 500, but some of it is due to longevity. But Roland, to me, if you took off his name and just looked at the stats, he had a good career, not a Hall of Fame career.
A fine career. He wasn't a Hall of Famer, but he is.
Well, that's just bad for the Hall of Famers, for the actual players that have worked their butt and have actually earned the right to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But can I just switch real quick to the NBA? I just want to figure out what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing.
In regard to
with the
what?
Warriors.
In regard to what?
The Thunder has 95 first-round picks over the next few years. So you decide to trade with Dallas to move up 2 spots and take on $17 million. What does that do for your team?
I'm not certain with that. I mean, I love a lot of the stuff that they're doing, but
it was great for Dallas. Dallas got off a bad contract, got the player they wanted, and then picked up another player later on, Rashawn Holmes. But, I mean, at a certain point, when is Oklahoma going to start playing to win and using the draft capital to get assets?
Well, I think they expect Holmgren to be healthy this year, right? That's a big part of what they're doing. They got a first-team All-NBA guy in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they're building young. What did they do in the draft this year? What did Oklahoma City do?
They ended up with wherever they want. I think his name was Kaysen. Whoever they wanted at 12, they just picked him at 10.
Okay.
And then Dallas, who was going to pick Lively at 10, just got him at 12 and dumped off $17 million Bertrand's contract.
Yeah, and I don't know what their salary structure looks like. I don't know, honestly.
They're one of the few teams that actually had salary cap in the $40 million range because of this new second tier for tax purposes, can go after a bigger free agent if they wanted to bring one in to play with Alexander. And then the Warriors getting Chris Paul is a total head scratcher.
Well, and I think that too. I
think he has to get traded. I think they just brought him in as trade bait because you lose Jordan Poole, you have that huge tax apron that you're landing on.
Well, okay. So the way I've been listening, because I'm with you, and Lenny, appreciate you. Thanks for the call. I'm with Lenny initially on the Chris. Did we have this conversation the other day on Chris Paul?
We opened it up. We didn't dive very deep.
All right, Ryan, where are you on Chris Paul going to the Warriors?
The whole Chris Paul movement has just kind of been a weird ending up. Like, what are the Suns doing at the beginning to, we're going to assemble another team that, Kevin Durant can try to lead, and that's never worked.
Do you feel he fits there?
No.
Okay, I didn't initially either. I'm like, what are they doing? But I think JJ kind of convinced me a little, and I was listening to a lot of people over the weekend. So they're looking at this as he's a backup guy, right? He gives you 18 to 22 minutes a night. He's 38, 39 years old, and they figure maybe they can preserve him for the playoffs. When you want to rest Steph, who's now 33, 34, 35, right in there, that you've got a backup steady guy. He's not he can't be a big 2, 3, 4 piece anymore, right? And so I'm not sure I love it either, but Lenny's not wrong here. The key to that was getting rid of Poole, getting rid of his contract and showing Draymond, look, man, we're backing you instead of that guy, so they can get Draymond to come back and sign. I don't know if they're going to sign Clay, but to his point, that contract they just took on with Chris Paul, that's insanely prohibitive. That's the piece where I just go, I don't know how I think that works.
Yep.
But that's where we are. All right, we're gonna go. I want to go through some of the names up for baseball's Hall of Fame this year. One guy at the top I know you love. He's got to be next, right? You need 75%. He got almost 70, well, a little over 72% of the votes last year. What is a Hall of Famer? Do we even know what a Hall of Famer is anymore? Is it and to both these guys' last points, is it just kind of the Hall of Really Good as opposed to the Hall of Greatness? 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery Hotline. Glad you're with us on a Monday. Thank you for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Registration is now.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
But we're talking Hall of Famers, and had this even come up when I said Freddie Freeman's a Hall of Famer, and Tony called and asked, "Is he really?" I said, "Yeah, I think he's going to be. I mean, just on the pace." And he said, "Well, if Freddie Freeman, who got his 2000th hit yesterday, he's only the 6th active player, but many players got to 2000. If his career ended today, would it be a Hall of Famer?" I said the answer is no. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta. Ryan's in for JJ today and DC. I didn't even ask you guys. So Freddie Freeman career ended right now. He didn't play another game. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Scott Rowland's numbers would tell me yes.
Really? Are his numbers even with Scott Rowland's?
2,077 hits, 316 home runs, 1,287
Those are
RBIs.
Rowland's numbers.
Yeah.
And what's Freeman compared to that?
2,000 hits, 306 home runs, 1,089 RBIs.
So you need to do a little more, wouldn't you?
The rest of the year.
A little more. Is he a Hall of Famer to you?
You know, I've been thinking about this throughout break. He really isn't. He's the Hall of really good.
But he will be, right? I mean, on the projection that he's on, right? He plays another, let's say he plays another 4 years at this pace. He's going to end up with about 2,600 hits, a championship.
That'll probably get you in.
400 home runs.
400. I mean, in today's world, he's a Hall of Famer. I think people are really struggling with the Scott Rowland thing, aren't they? Was Fred McGriff a Hall of Famer to you?
Man, the crime dog. It's hard because I was a youngster, so I remember the speed, the batting stance, like it's all fan stuff. So, but like you look at the stats, and I don't know that I can justify it.
So I'm looking at the list of eligible guys, and it's funny because I'm going to get to this email or this text in a second. But here's who is remaining. You got 13 guys, 14 guys off of last year's ballot, and then a bunch of first year guys. And of the first year guys, there's really, I don't know, nothing. I mean, was one guy stand out to you?
Adrian Beltre.
Right? And that's it. Todd Helton's your guy at the very, very top. I know you love you some Todd Helton, right? And I'm kind of hoping he gets in because he's a Rocky and he like, this is one of those where is it all about numbers? He was so vital to that franchise. He played 17 years in the big leagues, hit 369 home runs. That's not a magic number. He hit 316 over 17 years, which is really, really good. He drove in over 1,400 runs. I think he gets in this time, don't you? Right? This is 6 year on the ballot. But he's not a no-brainer, is he?
No. It kind of comes back to like no rings, and then it just changes the conversation, I guess.
Well, yeah. Here's your top guys coming back off of last year's ballot. It's Helton, Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner, Hall of Famer. He was good, right? He had 422 saves. That's his number.
Francisco Rodriguez had 437 down below him.
Okay. Carlos Beltran's in his second year. But Andrew Jones never felt like a Hall of Famer to me. Gary Sheffield. He was really good. I don't know that he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, the best name on the list is Alex Rodriguez, right? And he's not going to get in. No. Is Manny Ramirez a Hall of Famer?
That was one I kept looking at, and he's fun to watch, but I don't know about Hall of Fame.
Manny Ramirez played 19 years in Major League Baseball. He hit 555 home runs. What's the magic number now? Is it 6 or is it 7? 5 or is it 600 home runs to get you in? Right? He drove in over 1,800 runs. He hit 312 over 19 years in the big leagues. I mean, with all due respect, now I understand the steroid stuff and I understand all the off-field stuff. Manny Ramirez is a Hall of Famer before Scott Rowland is, isn't he?
Just on stats, yeah. But the PED thing, people take that seriously.
Well, I'm looking at this list. Andy Pettitte is going to be kept out because I think Andy Pettitte's numbers are really impressive. Don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, A-Rod's a no-brainer except for the PED things, right? But it's a PED era, man. This is actually really interesting because I've done this show for 15 years next month, but I've never had the conversation with you two. So we're going to redo this conversation. All right. What do you do with the PED era? I mean, we're looking at names that are half of them are associated with it anyway, right? Where are you with guys like whether it's Schilling or Clemens or A-Rod or Pettitte, or what do you do with them?
The way I look at it is, how can you separate them out? I mean, you're just going to give up an entire era of baseball, and maybe that's the reason Scott Rowland is getting into the Hall of Fame right now, because he was not in that era of baseball. I mean, it's what, 15, 20 years of just baseball. That's what it was. You can't definitively say some people were on it, but probably were.
You can relatively,
and you can definitively say some people were on it that were still really good. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see how you can lose 15 or 20 years of the sport and chalk it up to, oh, well, they were all on PEDs.
Where are you?
See, I have a tough time because we've already held out Bonds and McGuire and some of these guys that won't get another crack at it. So I kind of look at the rest of the list and I say, you've got to have the same punishment. And so I do agree. It's like you can't completely wash 10, 15 years of league history, but the Hall of Fame to me does mean something. And I just feel like if you've gone to the point where you've had a season, taken away from you or a long suspension for PEDs, I don't have a place for you.
Ralph says it became the Hall of Good Longevity with Harold Baines, which is probably right. And he says, if Royd's guys are ineligible, shouldn't the Astros be ineligible? That's a whole nother story.
Hey, man, that's a point, though.
He's not wrong. And we're going to get to that. I mean, there's going to be a day of reckoning on that, too. Right?
Yeah, I was surprised he came out and said he made a mistake. Having the
commissioner?
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up because you guys are both right, I think. And DC, your point on going back and saying, all right, you've already kept Bond. Who's expired? Bonds is expired. Clemens, I think, and Schilling. Schilling's a borderline guy anyway. Clemens was a Hall of Famer on numbers. Bonds, McGuire should probably be in. Sosa's a borderline guy on numbers. I mean, he was all home runs. I lean to you, and I've evolved this way. Okay. I used to be, you can't, man. They cheated. They can't be in the Hall of Fame. They didn't do it the right way. The other guys didn't. But I realized they might have been in the majority in that era. And Ryan's point of how do you take out a whole era of baseball? And you can't. And now you've let some of the, like, what about Bagwell and Biggio? I mean, do we really think, like, nobody will surprise me. If you, the two guys that I kind of think were clean, but won't, if someone came back and said they were doing it, are Jeter and Griffey of that era, that were great in that era.
Right. Okay.
But if someone came back to you and said, and pick one, I don't care which one. Well, you know what? In this season, he was coming back from injury, and he did use the roids, and look at his number. Wow, he had a great year. Would it stun you?
No, it can't. I mean, and that's the whole era, right?
This is where I got to here, and I'll tell you why. And there's other arguments with this. I can't definitively sit here and preach and scream and they're cheaters. I can't look you in the eye and tell you that if I was sitting in a locker room and whatever, pick your year, 90, whatever, right? And I'm going to give you two scenarios. Let's say I'm sitting in a locker room in AAA Albuquerque, and the dude I'm next to, or I was next to, I was better than him, but now I watch him inject himself in the arse. And all of a sudden now he's in the bigs and he's making, at that point, $3-4 million a year. And I know I was better than him. And that's what Roy, I can't look at you in the eye and say, I wouldn't have done it. And if I was in the big leagues and I was a guy, a role player making a few million, and the guy next to me is doing it. And now he's a superstar. I'm making a mega $1 million contract. I can't honestly tell you. I wish I was big enough and strong enough to say, absolutely, I would never have done that. I can't. Can you tell me that?
No, it would be too tempting.
Right?
The money, I mean, you're talking about guys earning 10x just based on the injection.
Plus, at the time, in your bubble, that's what's accepted, right? You know what goes on in your world. When you live in a world, you don't hear some of the external noise. Like, can you look me in the eye and say, there's no way I would have done it if I was in those?
Not at all.
Right? And that's why I'm leaning towards what Ryan is on this, where you almost got to accept the guys from that era. And that's what Bond should be in the Hall of Fame.
See, I agree with that. And I kind of feel like if we went back and just let them all in, I'd be totally fine with that.
Or just make them re-eligible again for a new cycle or something.
It's a tough one. Where are you guys on Pete Rose?
That's a good question. That was before my time, but he did what he was not supposed to do. Everyone knew it, and what happened happened.
Yeah.
Gambling and steroids, to me, gambling, sure, yeah, he can make roster changes and things to impact the game, but I see that as different from steroids.
Where are you on Pete Rose?
It doesn't bother me as much anymore, and there's no way it's not going to happen again, especially as far as gambling has come in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, Calvin Ridley, look at him. And he's not betting on himself. He's just, Pete Rose obviously was, but it's still an area that's become so open.
Yep.
That
you can't gamble on your game. Okay. You can't. So here's where I am. And I'm old enough that I did see Pete Rose play. I remember the day he broke the record off of Eric Schau of the Padres. And he was, so what is baseball? Throw ball, hit ball, right? I mean, throw ball, hit ball, catch ball, right? That's the dude. He still is the major league leader in hits, right? Still to this day is the leader in hit. He is hit ball better than anybody who's ever played. The Hall of Fame is, and I know some of you are going to get angry with me, and I'm fine with that. And you can get in on the 377 Brewery hotline at 505-246-0610. Pete Rose, we've got a museum, a hall in Cooperstown, New York, which memorializes, which protects, which captures the history of the game of baseball, right? The dude who hit the ball better than anybody in the history of the game, has more hits, should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I don't think he should be able to make to work in baseball. I think the compromise here, I think the right compromise, and what I think is going to happen, they're going to let Pete in when he's dead. And Pete wants more than anything in this world to have that day, right? And I know Fay Vincent was never going to let him have it, the former commissioner. Pete's sitting in malls in Vegas signing autographs for $50, whatever it is, right? I just, that's what Pete's life has become. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I feel sorry for him. He did it to himself. But what if you let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame and just said, you cannot work in baseball? You can't have a job in baseball. You can't be a hitting coach. You can't be a scout. You're banned. You bet on your team. You threaten the integrity of the game. But as a player, and he was never accused of betting on baseball as a player, correct? This was always as a manager.
Correct.
He was an unbelievable baseball player. He was an unbelievable baseball player, as good as anything you've ever seen. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, put him in the Hall of Fame, put on his plaque everything that happened. He was banned from baseball from life, cannot make a living in baseball. He bet on his team. He was blackballed, whatever. But for crying out loud, he got more hits than anybody in the history of the game. He had a great nickname, Charlie Hustle. You guys okay with that? I mean, is that no? He just can't be in.
I think to your point that this conversation becomes a lot more viable when he dies.
And they're going to let him in when he's dead, right? Don't you think?
It seems like it's going to go that way.
Yeah.
As a player, not a coach.
Well, that's right. And he wasn't a Hall of Fame manager. He wasn't. But there's no argument that we're letting Scott Rowland in. Right? I'm letting Scott Rowland in, but I get why. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you what he did was not egregious, should not be taken seriously. But here we are, what are we, 40 years later now? Right?
Pretty close.
I know nobody wants to give him that, but we're letting guys like this in. Bagwell, Biggio, Rowland, Fred McGriff.
It's a strong point, because you're right. When you look at the numbers, take away the names and all the other stuff, like
he's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, it's not even a question.
What would it kill people? Tell me how this would be detrimental. Let him in the Hall of Fame, put his plaque up, put his story on. But still, he cannot work in baseball. He still has his lifetime ban. Ring him. If you're there, we're going to get to you. 505-246-0610. And then you ask, is this guy a Hall of Famer? He was as good as anybody in the game, but did he play long enough? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Sport is sponsored by
pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players.
It's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As LaCueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the LaCueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do.
Mike, I like this conversation. What is a Hall of Famer? Who's a Hall of Famer? And the Pete Rose stuff always interests me as well. Ryan's in for JJ today. It's me and DC and you at 505-246-0610. That's the 377 Brewery Hotline. Edward, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
It's always delightful to hear your guys' voices. Great subject matter as always to kick off the week. A prelude to the long holiday weekend coming up. And once we get to the 4th of July, it's basically football season. It's basically football season right now. But regarding the Hall of Fame, which I think because of the steroid era, which Major League Baseball is somewhat culpable, because it rejuvenated the game. You know, there was excitement. So you can't benefit from the steroid era and then punish those that were involved. Jeff, you and I are the same age demographic. I've been watching baseball since the early mid-'70s, right? And I'm going to qualify this call by saying I'm a Red Sox fan, and Carl Yastrzemski is my favorite player all time.
He was great.
He won the Triple Crown in 1967, right before I was born. But Barry Bonds is the best player of the last 50 years outside of Hank Aaron, in my opinion. And I would say most people's opinion. You could make an argument for a few other people.
Terrific.
But he's clearly one of the best players in the last 50 years. And Roger Clemens won 7 Cy Young Awards. 7. And for people, the histrionics of the game and the arrogance of the Hall of Fame and the writers keeping Pete Rose out, which I remember the day he broke that record, the all-time hit record. It's laughable, in my opinion. And I'm getting to a point, quite honestly, who cares about the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a museum, in my opinion. And I know we talk about statistics. Growing up, I knew the number of home runs was 700, and I think it was 755 that Hank Aaron had hit, if I'm not mistaken. And we all knew the number. But now it's so convoluted that I think I don't even care anymore. Let everybody in.
Edward, a lot
and
of
if you
people
want
there,
to
man.
qualify it, if you want to, I think you and I are kind of in agreement here, Jeff. If you want to qualify it and put some context behind it, so be it. But the sheer arrogance of Major League Baseball and those that run it, who cares, right? I just want to be entertained. And by the way, Ohtani, in the next few years, will probably be the greatest player in the last 70 years. That's what we're seeing right now. So that's my stance on it.
No, appreciate
that I
you.
share with you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you. And Ralph's on the same thing with why can't I get rid of that? Ralph says MLB's hypocrisy. Ban Pete, but take money from DraftKings and post odds in games. But it is hypocritical in some respect, but it's also evolutionary. Like the times have changed. You've embraced it now. It was illegal. Like what and there's a difference, man, between betting and betting on your own team. Do we agree with that? Like, this is a conversation we had the other day. And I'm going back to the phones. And if you're there, please stay there. But Ryan, I want your thought on this. And Jacob, we're going to get to you in a second. You're a big college football guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Should guys in the National Football League, right, NFL guys, we know they're not allowed to bet on NFL football. They shouldn't be. Should NFL players be allowed to bet on college football?
Yeah, I mean, it's not your sport. It's not your. You theoretically have no say in anything that's going on there.
I think no. Can I tell you why? And you know, I mean, you know, college football guys, they all have good relationships with people in the game, whether it's their former teammates who are still playing, whether it's coaches. I think it's too close for a guy on Thursday. I was just talking to my boy. He told me their quarterback's out, or their left tackle's out, or their edge rusher, or I think they're too close to being able to get that information. Now, you can also argue a guy that doesn't play college football that played for Pick Your U last year is also going to have that same information.
Yeah, I can argue that. I can argue that a student on campus is going to have some of that same information.
Yeah, I think that there's that. I just don't think they should be able to. I want to keep it clean. Look, man, you're playing pro football for 3 to 12 years. You cannot bet on football. You're making a bunch of money. You can back off it for that long. That's where I'm coming from.
I can see that, and I don't have a problem with it either. I mean, look at Odell Beckham in the locker room after the LSU championship, handing out $100 bills to Burrow and all those guys, and now he's not allowed to go back around the program.
Right? No, that's right. Jacob, thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Jacob.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So, statistics will allow an athlete to rise to the top, but it can't be just about statistics. Character has to matter. Rules have to matter. What lesson are you teaching young children if you're allowed to cheat and then, because of your statistics, at the end of the day, they're still going to let you in the Hall of Fame anyway?
That's fair.
That's not a good lesson. All of these guys are role models. Okay? All of these guys knew the rules going in. It's not like they figured it out halfway through. They weren't told at the end, oh, you're not supposed to do that. Going into the game, they understood you cannot do these things. They did those things. Those things made them better. If, especially with the steroids, obviously gambling didn't make anybody better.
Right.
But with regard to the steroids, it made them better. How do you know that A-Rod was going to be a Hall of Famer if he didn't take steroids? How do you know whether or not any of these other athletes were going to be Hall of Famers if they didn't take steroids?
So do you eliminate the whole era?
Why not? If they all cheated,
well,
that's the consequence. That's the consequence of it.
Yeah, I don't
if
hate
you cheat, there's a consequence.
Yeah. So what do you do with Hank or with Pete Rose? You cheated and there's no way, right?
That's right. That's why Shoeless Joe Jackson's never going to get in.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, even after he's been dead for so long. That guy he was just around it. There's no direct evidence that he was involved in it. But because he was so tainted by everybody else, that poor kid is never going to make it.
Yeah, I respect where you're coming from. I think there's a lot to it. And the answer is, what kind of lesson are we teaching? There's got to be a consequence. And does it need to be, and this isn't the ultimate consequence, but in baseball terms, that would be the ultimate consequence. I think it's a really, really fair point of view. I might lean the other way, but I respect where you're coming from, Jacob.
Well, thank you guys. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. I totally respect that. And I get that. And I was there for a long, long time. I just got swayed over to, I don't think that you can, and simply because I can't look you in the eye and tell you I wouldn't have done it. And I would have been able to accept the consequences. Let me ask you this. Pick a guy that you think got left out because of steroids. Pick one. I don't care. The millions of dollars he made, you think he'd trade the millions of dollars for a Hall of Fame?
No, it seems unlikely.
What means more? What's more valuable? And then you got to define value, right? I mean, it's got to be. I've never been in a Hall of Fame, but I've got to believe that's a beautiful, beautiful sense of pride. There's incredible value that you can't put a price tag on it, right? Okay. And then there's the millions and the lifestyle that you've lived.
And you're asking kids that are 19, 20, 21 to think about their legacy
or mid-30s
going forward.
Yeah.
And do you want the legacy of being a Hall of Famer, or do you want to be, fiscally safe and not having to worry about anything for the rest of your life?
See, that's interesting because I think about Barry Bonds, and before the steroids, he was still on that trajectory to potentially be Hall of Fame. He was a stud with Pittsburgh.
We assume that, right? Before steroids, yes.
So you look at that, the fact that he decided to do that, it was then about the money, right?
I don't know. I think that's right. Yeah, I think that. But then he went on. I mean, he's a different cat, right? He's the all-time home run leader, whether you recognize him as being that or not. He is. The Bonds thing is different, and I know we got to hit this break. The Bonds thing is different because he was a Hall of Fame a-hole. Right? I mean, by every account. No, honestly, have you ever come across anybody who said, no, Barry was a great dude?
Not
anybody.
Once. Not once.
Right?
No.
And so because he was so unlikable, unless you are a Giants fan, because he brought you World Series, because he was so unlikable, everybody despises that dude. And so nobody, do you feel bad that he's not in the Hall of Fame? Like, you could say, I think he should be, but I don't feel bad about it. McGuire's almost different, right? McGuire came out, was apologetic, recognized it. Clemens was, and bloody sock guy.
Schilling.
We're a little different. I don't know, man. You think any of them would give it back? Trade the money for the Hall of Fame? The money that the steroids earned them?
No.
The lifestyle that they're living now?
Unless they blew it somehow, which can happen.
It can.
But I doubt it.
And they still got to live with the stigma everywhere they go. You cheating and bleep, right?
Yeah,
right?
but you think that's still happening if you're walking down the street in San
Rarely,
Francisco?
Rarely. Right? I mean, if he's in L.A.,
maybe, yeah.
I mean, it could be, what city. But you don't see Bonds anymore. You don't see McGuire anymore. Where's Roger Clemens now? Now, granted, what Hall of Fame, you still see Johnny Bench around. You still see a lot of these guys. I don't know. I appreciate where Jacob's coming from too, though. What are we teaching our kids? You cheat and you still get rewarded? It's a fair conversation, man. All right. You guys are, pumping me with emails about the local club. Huh? You're a little cranky about getting swept 6 in a row in Reno. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by the New Mexico.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future and get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Search KNML.
We got an app? You were back. I had no idea. We had an app for about a year, and they broke it to me on the air. I'm like, yeah, you can listen. I'm like, we have an app? I had no idea. But that's just because I'm new. Opening drive. By the way, we're turning 15 years. What's today's date? 26th? So I think a month and 2 days we're gonna be 15 years old. I don't even know what 15 years. It's Crystal, I believe. I believe that's what it is. It's the opening drive. Ryan's in for JJ today. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Ryan listens on the app, or how do you listen on the app?
App if I'm in the car, and then online if I'm in the office.
So he's listening in Texas a lot. Ralph has been sending me a bunch of texts this morning from San Diego. We're all over the place. He's all over the place. It's good. And then we got Howard's up in Reno listening today. Howard won a stack of cash playing blackjack in Reno. And he, pretty good night. He was good. All right. We've been talking about Hall of Fame stuff. If you want to get in on that, like who's a Hall of Famer? This text asks, is Megatron a Hall of Famer? Calvin Johnson was terrific, was he not? He says, but did he sustain his career long enough? Calvin, if Gale Sayers was a Hall of Famer who had his career cut short, Terrell Davis didn't have a long career, did he?
No.
I mean, my eyes told me he was a damn Hall of Famer, didn't yours?
Oh, yes.
And going back to the last guy's call, Jacob, it shouldn't all just be stats. Now, his argument was if you cheat, you shouldn't be rewarded. But should it all be stats? Barry Sanders was short. He's in the Hall of Fame, right? I know he is.
Yes.
Calvin Johnson, to me, I mean, I don't know. I watched that dude. That dude's a Hall of Famer. But we're going to put in some guy with better numbers who wasn't nearly the receiver, right? And longevity should matter. It should. I mean, best ability is availability, right? Is he a Hall of Famer, dude?
Yeah. Talent-wise, yeah.
I have no idea what his stats said. I know what the dude did. He was amazing. All right. Let me read you some of these. Text line. You know, people complain about performance-enhancing drugs, but when they were more prevalent in Major League Baseball was when baseball was interesting. Other than Isotopes game, I have had no interest in baseball for decades. Okay. I would tell you baseball is pretty interesting right now. If you want it to be, there's a lot of really cool stuff in baseball right now. The Philadelphia Phillies are interesting. The Cincinnati Reds are young and interesting. I know you're going to laugh at me. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the first place Arizona Diamondbacks are interesting. Like if you want baseball, and you'll back me up on this or don't, but you live in a baseball market. You live in the Dallas Metroplex.
Yeah.
Baseball's regional. We don't have Major League Baseball here, but every time I go to a baseball market, and whether it's San Diego, LA, Boston, wherever, the city loves their baseball team, right? It's a big deal in the city, and it's different in a town like this that doesn't have Major League Baseball.
I would agree. And we've got one of the best teams in the league, Major League Baseball right now,
in the Rangers,
and that was pretty much a surprise. Like they weren't very good last year. They weren't very good the year before.
So how's your town responding?
They're going to the games. Sorry again.
People talk about it like it's everybody. Yeah. You know the players. Everybody knows them.
Yep. And they're going to the games, and we've had this new ballpark for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And they're finally filling it up every night. And
do you think? I think the rhetoric that baseball's boring. I think it's lazy. I mean, if whatever you don't like is boring, right? I mean, soccer's boring if you don't like it. Football's boring if you don't like it. Baseball's boring if you don't get it, right? But in big league cities, baseball seems to be pretty alive to me. except in Oakland.
It can be. The problem, at least from our experience in DFW, is that the Rangers are out in Arlington, and kudos to Arlington for keeping everything that they've gotten over the years. But it's harder to get to, and baseball had a real problem before pitch clocks. It was taking a long time. It was being drug out. It was all of these things, and now you can go to a game and get through in two and a half hours.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Addie, and you listen to my daughter with the excitement that her, right? My daughter's 17 years old, went to a Phillies Mets game with her mom yesterday in Philly. We're going to go to the Red Sox Thursday night in Boston. And she had such a good time now. She got a ball, right? It's not her first big league game, but she got a ball at her first Phillies game. But she loved the excitement around it. Like, just listen to she didn't know any of the players. Dad, when they struck this Mets guy out, she didn't know any of the players, but she loved it. There's something about being there, and I get that, but she loved the energy around it. Because I don't think baseball's dead. People tell me that all the time. It might be in a market where you don't have a big league team, and this is one of the weirdest markets in America, where mid-sized cities are usually attached to bigger cities. So if you take cities like our size, like whether it's a Spokane, an Oklahoma City, pick something like that, they're attached to a big league town. We're attached to 3 of them, which means we're attached to none, right? So Spokane, everything is Seattle sports. Oklahoma City is everything's Dallas sports, right? They're all, Des Moines is Chicago sports, right? We're this weird town that we're not attached to one. Used to be the Dodgers for everything, but it's not anymore. But it's interesting. All right, text line continues on Pete Rose. Pete has never humbled himself. He's always been a defiant. Neither region. I personally would not put him in. He defiled the game. Fair. I get that point. I'm on the other side of it, but I understand it. This one is from someone different. It says, if you let Pete in, you got to let Shoeless Joe in. Plus, you can't erase the Black Sox. Okay. You guys are really active today. I love this. It says, I have the controversial opinion that they should just let the players take performance-enhancing drugs back. When McGwire and Sosa were battling out for the home run king was when people were actually watching baseball. So he says, let them all in. I mean, DC, you were just saying during the break, we have absolutely divergent opinions on both sides of the fence on this. Is this one of the most polarizing topics?
It might be, actually. As I hear the reactions, everyone has strong points on why they are on the side they are on. And it's very interesting in this position hearing the reaction of the people of Albuquerque.
Yeah, and in baseball for sure. I mean, there's no bigger topic one way or the other than this.
This one says baseball is boring AF. Fact. I disagree with you. I say I don't think baseball's that boring.
No. I'm with you on this. I was in Seattle earlier this year, and I caught them playing the Rockies. My brother and I looked down. It's like 2 hours, 15 minutes in, and they're finishing the game. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. This clock is awesome.
And if you get the game, see, it's not boring at all to me. Now, and this is, I struggle watching a soccer game.
I do too.
To me, I mean, it's hard. I struggle watching a midseason NBA game.
I as well do.
But do your thing, man. Whatever gets you going, go do your thing. I don't think baseball is boring, but I'm not going to argue with this texter who flat out says it's a fact baseball is boring. Okay. I don't think so, but that's why the good Lord invented the remote control, right? All right. I know I teased this. We'll hit this coming back. A lot of you are in on local baseball, and you're cranky about it. Did they really drop 6 games in a row? A 6-game series? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610 Sports Hour.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
and act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
That the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, is going to reset. That there's a first half and a second half. So the first half champion plays the second half champion in the playoffs. You need a silver lining, Isotope fan, and there's a lot of you evidently because your club is 27-48. 27 wins, 48 losses. They just got swept in Reno 6 straight games and got outscored 60-21. Gave up 60 runs. That's an average of 10 a game. Scored 21. It's an average of what, like 3.5? It's a struggle. And some of you are cranky about it. Like cranky about it. Dan says, Jeffrey, no Juan Jose, Derek Charles. We've never seen AAA baseball as bad in Albuquerque as it is right now. I don't know if that's right. Bill says, mediocrity, we don't know what's come over me. Jeff, I need the OD's help in coming up with a new slogan. The club needs to show a lot of improvement to get to being mediocre. Yeah, they're not good. Gus says, when it rains, ... As if things couldn't get any worse, All-America candidate Jonathan Daza limped off the court in Reno on the next to last play of the game. If he misses significant time, it's going to be that much harder to fulfill Sushan's dream, as he told stories back in the day of the Dukes having a disappointing first half but winning the second half to make the district tournament and then going to win state. It's from Gus. Thank you, Gus. James says, oh, that's on something else. I'll get you there. Disgusting Dukes, says Sid. Mr. Symbieta, as you know, I jumped off the bandwagon in 2018 and haven't looked back. Can you see why now? If anything, things have gotten worse. As long as you have the current leadership of that organization, it's never going to get better. Wow. DC, I had no idea this many people cared about winning and losing of the Isotopes, but so there's some people who are pissed. You get to reset, but you just got outscored 60-21. The big club's not very good. El Paso's coming in, though. You get 2 days off to reset this whole thing. Here come the Chihuahuas. We sat with at dinner last night with a Chihuahua season ticket holder. He loves the Chihuahuas. What do they drink? Those, what was he saying they drink? His granddaughter drinks?
White Claws?
Oh, yeah, White Claws. Yeah, they sell those at the Chihuahua game. All right, 505-246-0610. That's the 377 Brewery Hotline. Come on in. Got a bunch of football for you as well. Travis Kelce tells Jamar Chase, basically, keep my quarterback's name out your mouth. I mean, this is kind of what he said, isn't it? About that? You got one of the best tight ends in the league ready to throw with one of the best wide receivers. It's the opening drive. Thanks for being with us on a Monday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? Pretty easy question in most circles, right? Pretty easy.
For sure.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL?
Patrick Mahomes.
I think that's where most people go, right? Aaron Rodgers might get a few. Joe Burrow might get a few, but you're an LSU guy, and you even go Patrick Mahomes, right?
You've won 2 Super Bowls in, what, the last 3 years?
You're pretty dynamic.
Yeah.
You're the guy right now. And nobody said all time. It's right now. It's the opening drive. Ryan's in for JJ today, me and DC. Glad you're here. Good calls today. Good conversation. You can keep it going on the 377 Brewery hotline at 505-246-0610. That's also the Sports Animal text line at 505-246-0610. Adrian's working on the visuals. You can watch the show, ProView Networks, their YouTube channel, Comcast Channel 26, or go to our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. So Jamar Chase is a young, wonderful, really good wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, correct?
Very much so.
Travis Kelce is a veteran tight end, considered the best tight end in the league, the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Travis Kelce says he gets that Jamar Chase wants to stick up for his quarterback. They took this as a diss to Patrick Mahomes. If you stick up for your guy, are you dissing the other guy? Probably, in this case. Chiefs star tight end, Kelce, is in on the Bengals star wide receiver, Chase. When Chase said, Pat who? When asked on the New Heights podcast about Patrick Mahomes. It's like, Pat who? Okay. So that's what we're all up in arms about?
Apparently.
Quote from Kelce. And now the Kelce brothers are getting their podcast going. They're looking for clicks. They need listeners. It is what it is, dog. Who doesn't love some good locker room banter, man? Shout out to Jamar Chase for holding it down for his QB. But don't you ever disrespect Pat Mahomes. Now, if you want to talk your bleep, pimp. You just better back it up, end quote. Too bad they're not on the field at the same time.
Yeah, and can we feel like he's kind of already backed it up? I mean, he's 3-1 against the Chiefs.
The Bengals were 3-1 against the Chiefs
Since they've been there.
And the Bengals went to a Super Bowl.
And call it what it is. Jamar Chase has been with Joe Burrow for 6 years now.
Dating back to LSU.
Yeah. So, I mean, stick up for your quarterback all you want, but at the same time, you're not wrong. It's got to be Patrick Mahomes until he's dethroned.
You're both backing up your quarterback, right?
Burrow even said that. I mean,
this all started after the Bengals quarterback, Joe Burrow, said earlier in the month that Mahomes was the best quarterback in the NFL, that there's no argument to make until someone can knock him off. Now, to your point, they may have beat him 3 out of 4 times.
No Super Bowls.
Mahomes has 2 rings, and the Bengals don't. The Bengals have been to a Super Bowl. They got beat by the Rams. Chase has his quarterback, Burrow's back. So, the context, when he was told that Joe Burrow said that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, he said, Pat who? And he made it I'm sure it was tongue in cheek. I'm going to guess. You got it? I'm going to guess Jamar Chase knows who Patrick Mahomes is.
I would imagine.
I mean, I'm just going to guess. Right? So it was all right, that was the Kelsey brothers. So the most of that was Travis Kelsey, and Jason was the one who said it's a little disrespectful. Mahomes didn't like it either, by the way. He tweeted a picture of himself at the Chiefs' ring ceremony with a ring, 2 rings on. So glad you guys had fun doing that. He's got his 2 Super Bowl rings up. Cute. All right, so this is what I do in preseason to talk football. This is my off-season football. I got to have bleep talk between dudes. All right, here's the other one. And this is the Deion. Let me ask you this. Ryan's in for JJ today. JJ will be back tomorrow. And Ryan is a college football guy. Ryan is the keeper of the cup in regards for the trophy, right? He's all over the country throughout college football season. You've been pretty much every venue, right?
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of the big ones for sure.
And he basically takes the college football playoff championship trophy and puts it on display. Everybody wants to see it. So what do you believe Deion Sanders is going to do at Colorado? Is he going to win? Is he going to make a difference? He's made a difference as far as enrollments and clicks and publicity. Will Deion win at Colorado?
It's hard to say. I mean, this year, no.
Their schedule's tough, too.
Yeah. It's not a good schedule. You're bringing in an entire new team. I mean, what's left at this point? 14 guys, 15 guys from last year?
Which they were 1-11. So I'm okay with it. They may be way better.
Yeah, and it's understandable. You know, everyone's seen the video. You know, if you're not going to stick to these rules, you're not going to do all this. Go ahead, hit the portal.
I'm bringing in my luggage.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's Louis. Yeah.
And it's Louis. And it's Louis.
But the next thing is you can't predict is where's Colorado going to be after this year? Is the Pac-12?
The feel is the Big 12, isn't it?
That's the feel. That's kind of what it looks like. But you
got a better chance to win the Big 12 than the Pac-12.
The Big 12.
So powers in the Big 12 as newly constructed will be TCU, Baylor.
Yep. BYU, if they always seem to retool somehow. Houston seems to kind of figure it out every now and then.
Yeah, but they're stepping up now.
Cincinnati's been good the last 5 years.
But they're both stepping up, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So TCU and Baylor. Kansas State.
They've been good.
Iowa State. No.
I'm baffled. If you had told me 5 years ago that Matt Campbell would still be at Iowa State, I'd have told
you were
though. Lying.
He's so good.
You ever been to Ames, Iowa?
I've never been to Ames, Iowa. I know you have.
It's hard to recruit to Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, there's a lot of places it's hard to recruit to.
The Big 12 has a lot of them.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Manhattan, Kansas, and Ames, Iowa, and Waco, Texas. And yeah, there's a lot of places that they get players to.
Yep. Yeah, somehow. I mean,
All right. Dion had successful surgery Friday to fix the blood clots in his leg. So his left leg, if you're keeping track. Remember, there was a concern that he was going to lose the foot. He had there was a blood clot in his left thigh and another up in the leg below the knee. Said he also has a blood clot in the right leg that doctors are going to get soon. But they posted a picture and he's fine. And I mean, good for him. I don't think anybody's rooting for the guy to lose his foot.
No.
Do you think? And this is kind of your beat a little bit, DC, in your hood. Are people in Colorado, are they on board? I guess you jump on board when you're 1-11. You're like, whatever, let's just go do something different. But are people behind him?
They are on board. They are definitely on board.
Yeah, that hire's already paid off.
And he hasn't
season
coached the game
tickets,
yet. Yeah.
spring game.
Well, they had
tickets, all that
40,000 people at their spring game,
At
right?
the spring game, man. That's wild.
and it was snowing,
And it was snowing.
and the trophy was there. I was not, but the trophy was.
Who had the trophy that day?
And another one of our.
How'd they get
staffers.
it there? We're working on getting it at the New Mexico Bowl this year.
Nice.
I'm going to run as many of those traps we can.
ESPN does a spring game a year and Fowler was there. So
Yeah. Well, he lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that most people are on the Dion bandwagon, or are people? Look, haters hate, right? And so in Colorado, they love him. Do you find people in college football are behind this and wanting this to succeed, or do they not buy into his act? Most of college football.
I feel like everyone's pretty skeptical. They want to see it work at a higher level. I mean, what he did at Jackson State was great, but you're recruiting a different type of player. You're getting a different type of player, and you're using. I mean, in fairness, you're using a lot more money to do all of that out of Colorado versus at Jackson State.
Well, and at Jackson State, you had more money coming in than your competitors did.
Correct.
He had, because it was him. At an HBCU, he had a donation rate that was way, way, way higher than the majority of the HBCUs, and he lost the bowl game that he played in.
Yeah,
they lost the Celebration Bowl. I don't know that he's a good coach or not.
It's almost impossible to say,
because he had resources and better players at Jackson State than the teams against whom he was playing, right? So I don't know if he's a good coach or not. I know he's an insane promoter.
Yep.
I know he's a great personality and he's a very good recruiter. I don't know if he can coach. And then you start looking around and people are like, well, they're going to go to a bowl game this year. And I'm like, so tap the brakes really quick on that, because you start looking at what they did and the schedule that they're going to have to play. And this is something where they open up against, was it?
They're at TCU.
At TCU. Oh, well, how tough is that? Do you remember TCU played in the national championship game, boys and girls?
TCU has lost a lot, though.
Okay. TCU is still TCU, and Colorado was 1-11.
Correct.
I mean, work with me on this. Colorado was 1-11. TCU on the road, Nebraska at home. This will be Matt Rule's second game at Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska, as bad as they were a hell of a lot better than Colorado, weren't they?
Yeah, they should have made a bowl game last year.
Colorado State was bad, and then they opened league play with Oregon and SC. Those are their first two. I mean, you look at it and say they're probably 1-3 to get started, 1-4 to get started. Arizona State, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, and Utah. You tell me where they're getting 4 wins, let alone 6. You see 4 wins there?
No, 3 would be a massive victory.
I mean, it would be an improvement, right? Now,
and to look good in some of the other ones.
I'm going to be interested to see how Dion does if they're not winning. Dion was great when they were winning. Incredible winner. Out in front. How's he going to be if they're not? And I don't know the answer.
I don't either, but it kind of seems like you can start reverting to maybe saying, well, this still isn't completely my team, and that
no, it's your team now, dude.
That can take a cascade effect.
It's your team now. There's no way in my team. You had what'd you tell me? 17 guys left?
That's something like that.
It's your team.
I
got a roster of 85 to 100 dudes, and 17 are leftovers. That's your team. It's your team. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That is what we call the 377 Brewery Hotline and the Sports Animal text line. Hey, when we come back, DC, you hit me with a champion who got his contract re-upped, a key cog in a championship club. But I'm going to show you the differences in what guys make in different sports. And this is going to shock you a little bit. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Registration is now open for the Lobo Cancer.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Sports Animal.
All right, so what is the guy who's a goaltender in the Stanley Cup who, what did you tell me, 92% save rate? Is that what you told me for Aiden Hill?
93% throughout the playoffs.
93% throughout the playoffs. All right, so what's he worth to you? He just helped you win a Stanley Cup in your sixth year. You extend him for 2 years. $4.9 million a year. Look, man, that's good money. I don't care what you're doing. You can go on vacation. You can send your kids to private school. You can do whatever you need to do. But you laid out something for me today that I had not put into perspective. Now, you can make an argument, although I think it would be flimsy, that an Aiden Hill, a great goaltender, is worth more than a good kicker in the NFL. Do you know, I know you know the answer. Ryan's in for JJ today. Do you know the franchise tag? So franchise tag is the top 10%. Is that right? 20%?
Top 5 average, top 10 average.
Top 10 average. Okay. What is the franchise tag? If I was to tag you as a kicker in the NFL, do you know what you'd make this year?
I guess would be around 6.5.
$5.4 million. $5.393 million. Okay. What's more important, a kicker in the NFL or a goalie in the NHL?
I mean, the goalie's playing 60 minutes if he's playing well.
It's the goalie. I mean, it's your goalie. Like a kicker can come in and get you the game-winning kick. He can't win you the game. Does that make sense? Goalies carry teams. This goalie was great. He won a Stanley Cup. I don't know. Is there the best kicker is Jason Tucker? He's really good. But is he worth millions more than the second or third or fifth best kicker? He might be.
He puts up points, but I mean, field goal's always 3. So whether it's 60 yards or 40, it's
give me the
points.
best kicker in the NFL. Is he worth more than a good goalie in the NHL?
No.
There's no way, right?
He plays, 6, 7, 8 plays a game?
All right. But why does this happen? And Ryan's point's right. This is not about victory, putting people in the seats. It's who's watching. And zillions are watching NFL and millions are watching the NHL, and that's where the money is.
Yep. This Aiden Hill signing, though, he's kind of like, if you remember back in the bubble, when the Stars got a hot goalie and they just ran through and lost to the Lightning in the Stanley Cup final in front of nobody. They turned around and gave Anton Hudobin a huge contract comparatively for a goaler.
What did huge mean?
I mean, it was similar. Let's call it similar to this, maybe even a little more.
Okay.
And he reverted back to what he's always been.
Average.
Yeah, he's a backup goalie. Like, this year for Aiden Hill, he played 27 games. Most of those were in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? But that's what it's worth. All right. This text line, they're welcoming you on the text line. Let's make LSU guy welcome. Topics today, Livy Dunn, Will Wade, Kim Mulkey's outfits. Which one do you like? You probably like Livy Dunn.
Yeah. Who doesn't? And Kim Mulkey's outfits are just ridiculous. They're awesome. They're hilarious.
So that was 3 different things. Ridiculous, awesome, hilarious.
They're all into one. I mean, you saw what she wore for the national championship, right?
LSU fan love her.
The pink. I mean, they do. She's from there. That's why she went back. She's not making. She's not making any more money than she was at Baylor.
She's not.
And I don't think so. I think it's very similar. But she's living in her hometown. It's
in Baton Rouge,
30 to 45 minutes outside of Baton Rouge.
What does LSU fan think of Livy Dunn? And for those of you who don't know, Olivia Dunn is the gymnast who is making millions as an Instagram and social media star.
Probably the biggest beneficiary of NIL in the nation.
She is a young, attractive, blonde gymnast who does social media better than anybody in the world.
Yes. Yeah. She's got millions of followers on Instagram. And when you're actually getting something out of NIL, it makes it a little easier to pay that, right? She's actually marketing and she's actually doing that kind of stuff versus, let's just pay our quarterback.
What is she doing? Is she doing like spots? I mean, it's all her, isn't it? Or is she?
Yeah, it's all, but she'll use items and all that stuff. I mean,
clothing
just
lines,
like your random people have become YouTube influencers or whatever, and they're not even a 18, 19-year-old girl who's in front of people on an athletic level.
So it's clothing lines I've seen and different nutrition.
I'm sure makeup and drinks and all that stuff.
So LSU fan has got to love her, right?
Oh yeah.
They
had security issues when they traveled on the road for LSU gym
to Utah, right?
Yeah.
Look, nobody's done it better than her. Right? Like nobody. Now others will. Like the Cavendish sisters have done it well, but she has mastered it. All right, what about your boy Will Wade? That's their basketball coach,
former basketball coach.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
he's now at McNeese State.
He moved up.
I guess
he got slapped.
Yeah, 10 games.
Yeah, 10 games.
And a show cause.
That's a 10 game and a show cause. Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. Ryan's in for JJ today. So there's your welcome. And thanks for getting him in. DC, you had this. We were talking earlier about, and really good stuff in the second hour today, about Hall of Fames and who should be in and who shouldn't be. And we're looking at it like guys, mostly baseball, and some of the stuff we're just struggling with. This guy's really on the ballot. This guy's really a Hall of Famer. Come on, stop it with this. And then someone asked, is Megatron, Calvin Johnson, the wide receiver for the Lions, how many years did he play in the NFL?
9 years.
All right. Is he a Hall of Famer? And my eyes told me, absolutely, dude's a Hall of Famer, right? So you looked up his stats, and you're going to compare. Do a blind resume. So his numbers against this blind resume.
Okay, 135 games played, 11,619 yards, 731 receptions, and 83 touchdowns.
Okay. And this other guy who's in the Hall of Fame.
The other guy, 12 years, 159 games played, 11,904 yards, 750 receptions, 65 touchdowns.
So he had more touchdowns, right?
Megatron did, yeah.
Megatron had more touchdowns, more yards?
Just under 300 less.
So the same number.
Pretty much.
So he played 3 years less than this guy.
Correct.
The other guy's in the Hall of Fame.
Correct.
The other guy had, where did he have better stats?
On the Super Bowl rings, mostly.
Yeah, no. But as far as just stats.
Well, I mean, a couple hundred extra yards, more games played, 19 more receptions.
19. And he played 3 more seasons.
19 more receptions.
So my answer is yes. By the way, the other guy was?
Michael Irvin.
The triplet.
No, I know who he is. I've heard of him. You mean, that dude on TV in the suits played? I'm kidding.
The NFL Network guy?
He's been on like every network. Is he still on? He had that issue with the hotel with the lady who accused him of something.
I think they're still trying to sort all that out.
That one of all of the allegations was super sketchy.
It was. That was Super Bowl last year, is that right?
Yeah.
At a hotel in LA. It was in LA?
Arizona.
It was in Arizona, yeah. Where, like, supposedly he had a less than 1 minute encounter in the lobby with this woman, and she accused him of...
And there's video of the whole thing.
Which supposedly shows nothing.
Correct.
Of all the allegations, man, that one is the one, and look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Mike is spotless. But it's... Anyway. So Michael Irvin's numbers were almost exact in 3 years more to Megatron. 3 rings matter, though, right?
Oh, they certainly do.
All right. So those are the numbers. Is Calvin Johnson a Hall of Famer?
Similar to Barry Sanders, yeah. You got to say yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Talent-wise.
I think so, too.
Just because he decided to do it less doesn't mean he should be docked for that.
How long did Gale Sayers play? Like 7 years? Like some guys were just great. Some guys were just great and didn't do it for long, super long times. Some guys are just, and Megatron was great. I mean, who do you think was a better receiver? Never mind numbers and championship. Who was a better, like if you were going to say, give me one guy in his prime, would you take Michael Irvin or Megatron? I would take Calvin Johnson.
I would too.
Yep.
Well, there's the answer then.
Isn't that funny how that works?
No, I think that's great work on your part to look up those numbers. I just, sometimes the answer is, what did my eyes tell me?
Yeah, he passes the eye test.
And by the way,
probably more than anyone.
9 years is a pretty good career, isn't it?
For a receiver?
I think the average career is like under 3 in the NFL.
I think it is.
Averages, yeah.
Right? Like
that's why you have to go 4 years to vest.
Is that what it is?
For your pension.
They make it tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the average career is right around 3 years. And so he did 9. He did it at an elite level, and his numbers were basically the same as a guy that you consider to be is a Hall of Famer and consider one of the best.
So you want to talk about short careers, Hall of Famers? Is Luke Kuechly a Hall of Famer? 8 years.
He all with Carolina. He was a terrific linebacker.
Almost 1,100 tackles in 8 years.
That is a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
That I didn't
know that. Might explain why he only played 8 years.
The guy played ball, though. Everything I remember,
he was terrific.
He was 100% every play.
Yeah, I maybe.
His first year, he had 164 tackles.
Oh, my goodness.
Put that into context for someone. So I want you to know, they played 16 games. So that's 10-plus tackles per game if you played every game.
Yep, and he did. 2 interceptions as well.
In his first year.
Yep, as a rookie.
And he became the face of that franchise. I would lean to yes, but I'd have to do a little bit more looking. I would lean yes.
I mean, that's a hell of an 8 years.
I mean, 8 years, dude.
1,092 tackles in 118 games.
Here, I'll tell you how many that is per game.
Like 9 point something.
Yeah. Yeah. I would lean yes. What were my numbers? How many tackles?
1,092.
1,092. And how many games?
118 games.
Yeah, 9.25 per game. Yeah, I would lean yes. All right, 505-246-0610. We're going to get a champion in college baseball today. One team got their doors run off them yesterday, and I think they're in a position to win tonight. Why? And would you bring back your ace on, 2.5, 3 days rest?
3 days rest.
3 days rest. Guy who might be the number one overall pick. Why? The answer's got to be yes. Next on the opening drive, hey, Albuquerque's known for a lot of things. A lot of things. Unfortunately, probably safety and security doesn't come to the top of the list. We say, hey, it's a great town for, well, okay. So safety and security, what do? Call International Protective Service. I called IPS years ago to protect my home, and they come by on a daily basis. You watched IPS all over town. They protect hundreds of homes and businesses all over the Boracay because they work, because it is affordable private security. Look, Aaron built this business back in 2006. They protect homes and businesses, but now we need some help. If you're a former retired police officer, if you have military or security experience and you want to make our city a better place to live, he's urging you to fill out an application at ipsglobal.com. Just go to ipsglobal.com and fill out an application. He's got world-class professionals to train you to handle almost any situation. Here's the number, 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420, or go online, fill out an application there at ipsglobal.com. Join Aaron and IPS if you want to make Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
Registration.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth? We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
To people who aren't familiar with this.
So They started this a couple years ago. It's a local bar in Omaha called Rocco's. When you go in, you can buy $5 Jello shots and tell them your team that's there. And they donate 2 of the $5 to the local food banks in the area in the name of all 8 teams. So LSU,
drinking for cause,
as of 21 hours ago, had 46,259 Jello shots purchased.
How many?
46,259
for at this one bar.
So that's $231,000 worth of Jello
that bar
shots.
kills it too, right? How much does it cost to do a Jello shot? Like a buck and a quarter?
Yeah,
I mean, it's all about the shot, right?
I imagine they're making half, and then they're donating the other $2.
Well, Jello's got to be nothing, right? I mean, a box of Jello's $1, right? And so it's what do you put a half a shot in each Jello shot?
Yeah, I guess. It's been a long time since I've done that.
I haven't done a Jello shot. When was the last time you did a Jello shot?
It's actually funny. I had a graduation about a week ago.
Yeah, last night. I mean, what do you mean? Don't judge. All right. LSU got beat yesterday 24-4. So I'm looking at teams that get pumped. Now, aside from the Ice Domes, because they take them out of the equation. What was the number you gave me? The Rockies got beat 24-1 on Saturday night, came back and won yesterday. They got outscored
32-12.
32-12 and won 2 of the 3 games.
That is such an unreal stat.
And I'm watching the game. I wasn't really watching it. I was watching Ryan watch the game yesterday. And he's just going, burn them all, boys. Keep scoring. Just get them all out of your system. My gut tells me Florida's going to struggle scoring runs today.
If Paul Skeens pitches, anyone's going to struggle to score runs.
All right, what do you do here? So you've got the number 1 pick probably in the draft, Paul Skeens.
Number 1 or number 2, and the other one is in his center fielder.
So you got a stud pitcher. Somebody told me that, LSU has more prospects than the Oakland A's.
Can you argue it?
No, I couldn't. I flat out couldn't argue it. No. It was somebody reputable. So you got a guy pitched Thursday. He's on 3 days rest. He's going to be the first or second overall pick in the draft. He's got at least, I mean, I don't know, the draft's in 2 weeks, and then they'll send him to probably high or low A, short season. So he's probably not going to pitch again for 3 to 4 to 5 weeks, right?
You would think.
Everything's on the line. It's College World Series, national championship. There's no way we don't see him at some point today. And I think the answer is how much would you use him? Would you start him? Would you bring him out of the pen? How do you use a guy like that today?
It's up to him. I mean, as being a young kid, he's thrown 243 pitches since June 17th.
What's today?
The 26th.
So in 9 days. All right, that's 2 outings. That's 2
He got almost full rest last time, and then this would be 3 days rest. But he threw 120 pitches on 4 days rest.
You should get 60 pitches out of him today, no?
I think you start him and you let him go, and you let him tell you when he's done.
You
Yeah,
start,
I
so
agree
you
with that.
start him. You don't bring him out of the pen. You start him.
I would. I don't. If you're bringing him out of the pen,
You're changing the
it's in
routine.
the 3rd or the 4th inning, but you are changing the routine. I think that does more harm than good because he's not going to have as long to warm up, or theoretically he
You
will.
can warm him up as long as you want to warm him up if you know when you're bringing him in.
But mentally, does that change a pitcher? I had this conversation about him because there's a lot of people that'll say if he gets drafted by a team that's going to make the playoffs this year, he could come out of the bullpen and be a long reliever this year and contribute because he's got some of that kind of stuff. But, having seen the Rangers mess people up that way, does that change something? I mean, Neftali Feliz is your perfect example.
You
drafted him to be a starter, you got him to go in as a closer, and then you tried to stretch him back out, and you ruined it.
So what? I mean, are we really worried about one short rest and it's 1 day short situation to win a championship, ruining the whole guy?
I'm not, but again, I'm not the guy who's about to go get drafted 1-1 or 1-2. And as Jay Johnson, you got to kind of stick up for him if he wants to. If he doesn't want to do it, then
Well, if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it.
right. You leave it in his. And as that guy, you 100%. You want to go out and win a championship with your brothers, right? I mean,
Let me ask you this. How important is it to be a legend? And I don't know the answer because I've never been there. But I mean, if he comes out and pitches today and shuts down Florida after they gave up 24 runs yesterday, and you win a national championship, dude's a freaking LSU legend forever, right?
Yep.
Who's the most popular LSU baseball player? And LSU baseball is a big deal.
It's probably Alex.
Alex Bregman.
Yeah. He's probably the best player to come out of there.
Until now.
Yeah, these two guys can.
And Alex was the
both get
number
up with him.
2 overall pick in the draft. Number 2, Dansby Swanson was number 1, then Alex Bregman. Like, not second round. And I know the downside is, well, he could throw out his arm. He's not enough rest. He could hurt himself and cost himself millions. Yeah. I don't know, man. I love to win.
Exactly. You're 21.
You're never. I mean, are you ever going to? Maybe you will be in a situation like this again.
There's no guarantee.
Final game, College Baseball World Series, chance to be a legend. They just gave up 24 runs yesterday. I don't know how I don't pitch.
I personally would.
Have you seen? What have you seen on it? Are they leaning it one way or the other? Have you seen it?
They're tight-lipped. Even on Thursday, they didn't announce it till about an hour before the game.
Text line. I agree with. I can't remember the name of the guy, Joe Skeens, that you're talking about. But you let him pitch, let him start, and when he's ready to come out, he'll tell you. All right, you guys convinced me. He starts,
and he might not tell you, and that's part of it too.
Well, he
may want to go the whole way.
He might not tell you.
He went 8 and 7.2 against Wake and Tennessee his last 2 outings.
All right. I mean, you got to, don't you? Just as a competitor.
Yeah, you have to. That's the LSU way. Just be tough, go out, play ball.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's funny, though. I was thinking back about Ben McDonald, and that was a long time ago. It's situationally different. The guy,
he got drafted by the A's, right?
Baltimore.
That's yeah.
Just had his SEC strikeout record broken this week, too.
Is that right?
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens, the guy we're talking about. All right, when we come back, I'll get you set everything you need to know as you go through your Monday. Anything that happened whilst we're on the air, I'll make sure that you're up to date on it. 505-246-0610. If you still want to get in, you can on the 377 Brewery Hotline. Ryan's in for JJ, Jeff Symbieta, and DC on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential.
United, they were at home out at the ball pitch on Saturday. Armando Moreno with a terrific bicycle kick highlight that made number 3 on SportsCenter's top plays on Saturday. United held on and beat Colorado Springs Switchbacks 2-1. First victory, they snap first victory in over a month, snap a 5-game winless streak and got 3 very, very much needed points. Eric Quill's first victory as head coach of United. Gladiators were victors over the weekend, 53-30 out at Rio Rancho Events Center. They beat the Las Vegas Nighthawks, scored 38 points in a row. Did Duke City, another much-needed win for the home team. So Gladiators on the good side. Isotopes lost Sunday, 6 in a row. Would you tell me they got outscored 60-21 in 6 games in Reno? Good thing we get to reset this thing and clear the standings and go for the second half. Jeff Symbieta, Ryan's in for JJ and DC. Thanks for sitting in today, dude.
Yeah. Thanks. Happy to be here.
Well, thanks for listening to the show. Ryan's one of those guys that contributes on a regular basis from Texas or from Georgia or from wherever he is with the dang trophy, and it's good stuff. And then look at you two from the same hometown.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
Small world.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you hit a golf ball like he does?
I bet we're big guys. We put it a long way, so
Yeah.
it's probably pretty interesting.
I got to get you out on the golf course too. I'll bet you can play it pretty well. He's good.
I believe that. I see the Masters hat.
We went out yesterday, and the guys were like, "Oh, who's the ringer? Who'd you bring?" Now, I'm not going to lie. Got a little even on the backside, but he's pretty good. Big day today. We're looking forward to a good time. We have New Mexico Bowl golf tournament today. So, and this is one of those. It's an appreciation for our sponsors, our partners, and our board members, and looking forward to just a great day. It's only going to be 100 degrees outside. Good thing we're giving out hoodies today. Right.
I might need it. It's going to be a lot cooler than it is at home.
It's what we played yesterday. He's like, "This is fine." It's 113 and humid. You were telling me yesterday, Colorado boy. You're like, "Damn, it got hot this weekend, huh?"
Oh my goodness!
I know.
Yeah, but I've lived in Texas too. I know about the heat and humidity.
All right, here's what people are going to be talking about as you roll around town, hit the water cooler. They're going to be talking about Freddie Freeman making a milestone, 2,000 career hits for the Dodger first baseman, the 6th active player to reach that milestone. But it was Albuquerque's Alex Bregman with the big hit to end that game yesterday as the Astros beat the Dodgers. Victor Wembanyama the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft is going to skip the FIBAs, the World Basketball Cup, the FIBA World Cup. He'll focus on his rookie season with the Spurs and get ready for next year's Olympics when he'll play for French. So it's a blow to the French team this year, but he'll play for him next year. So that's kind of what's going on, what people are going to be talking about. Hey, I got a question for you. We spent a lot of time today talking about Hall of Fames. I thought it was really cool conversation. Who should be, who shouldn't be, what's a Hall of Famer? Is it Hall of Mediocrity? And somebody called, and I don't remember where the comment came from, when we're talking about the steroid era guys and should they be in. And I thought your conversation on this was great. And somebody said, if you cheat, you shouldn't be in. And it was like, oh, yeah. So I know they were alluding to the Astros, right? So when it comes down to it, when it's an Altuve, a Bregman, potentially Carlos Correa, right? I mean, I don't know. Justin Verlander was on that team, wasn't he?
Yep.
The Astros went out and won last year, and I don't hear anybody telling me that they cheated. Do you?
No. Everyone kind of felt like they just validated the first one.
Well, I don't know if everybody felt that way, but a lot of people did. Certainly their fans did. When it comes down to an Altuve, a Bregman, I mean, they're both on course, and they're not Hall of Famers yet. Neither one of them are. But let's say they continue on this course. I mean, when I look at this list of guys that are up for the Hall of Fame, and you're going to tell me Billy Wagner and Andrew Jones and Gary Sheffield and Omar Vizquel and Bobby Abreu are on this list, those guys then are going to be on this list. How will voters view, and let's just say they have clean, really good careers the rest of the way. How do those 2, 3, 4 guys get viewed?
I think you have to let it go. I mean, you can hold one thing against them. They did cheat. There's no doubt about that. They got away with it. They never got suspended for it because they were granted immunity to speak. However, it went down. If you have a good 14 years after that, 10 years after that, and before that you even had good careers, what are we talking about? I mean,
well, we're talking about cheating.
Once.
For a year plus, they got you a World Series.
Yeah, but if you go out and get 2 more, do the other 3 not?
No, I think if you continue on this path, yeah. Where are you?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's tough because it's a systematic thing where the whole squad was involved. You had players, coaches, and everything. And I think of PEDs, it's a very individualized thing. So I agree. If you go out and you have 10, 12, 14 years after, you've probably cleaned it up enough that you're eligible.
Where were you? I know we had this conversation, DC, on Friday. Rob Manfred is the commissioner of Major League Baseball. And he came out last week and said it wasn't my best decision. If I had it to do again, I would not grant immunity to those players. That he said there probably should have been some punishment. I think most people agree, most objective people agree that there probably should have been some punishment for those players. I said on Friday, there's part of me that can appreciate a guy coming out and saying, I made a mistake. Now, I don't know that it excuses the mistake, and there's plenty of baseball people who will never forgive Rob Manfred for letting those guys off the hook, right? But what do you think when he came out? Should he have said it? Does it make it, I don't know if make it any better is the right way to say it, but how do you feel with him coming out and saying that?
I think it almost makes it worse. I think we finally reached a point after they went out and legitimately won, and it's, we're a couple years down the road. We're done with it. Leave it in the past. If somebody wants to ask you about it, just
I think that's wasn't the context
what you wanted to do.
Wasn't the context he was answering a question?
Yeah. I mean, but just say, it was what it was. You don't need to create a headline and drag this back up, because now this is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Now people think about it again for another couple of years, and even if they go win another one, are we doing the same thing in a different way? Are we doing this? Are we doing that?
Where are you with this, with Manfred? Were you okay with him coming out? And I don't have a problem with him addressing it and saying, you know what, I would have done things differently. It almost validates all those people who are saying you screwed up, man.
It does. And I do appreciate someone who's willing to come out and say they were wrong. But I kind of agree. It does sort of make it worse. Like, why can't we leave that alone and move forward? So it's kind of weird because I find myself in the middle. My initial thought was to go with you. It's come out, say you messed up and move forward. But, you're right too. It made it worse. We're talking about it again. It's so that is a really tough question.
Yeah. I think that whole situation's tough. And I think Rob Manfred, trying to get to the bottom of this, probably, and this is as I think this through, why would he grant him immunity? Well, I'm going to guess he probably didn't realize how bad it was. So I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and I'm going to go to the guys who know, and they'll tell me because I'm going to grant them. And then he went, holy bleep. Like this thing runs pretty deep, and now there's nothing you can do. And okay, mistake, like retrospect mistake. Are you of the belief that they should have vacated that championship?
That is a tough question. I, on the surface, can definitely hear that argument. I'm not 100% sold on it.
It leaves, what was it, 2005 USC with Reggie Bush, and now all of a sudden there's just no champion. Like they went out and who was it? Oklahoma. They beat 55-10 or something.
Right.
Do you give, or do you just leave it as nobody's won a championship this year? And how does that even go? I mean, that's really the only punishment that I could see you can give at a team level, other than fining them all. But I mean, can you suspend an entire team? Let's go in retrospect here. They're all participating in it, right? So how does that look, even if you do decide to do something to them?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. But I know that there's a lot of people who are just like, I don't know, that should have been vacated. You don't give it to the second place team. You don't award the
There's
Dodgers.
just no champion.
No, there's just, it's like the Heisman Trophy when Reggie Bush got it, right? I mean, on the record, there's no, which by the way.
Yeah, can he have that back now?
Well, of all of them, that's one that bothers me, I think, the most. Reggie Bush's parents allegedly got a home, and you took the Heisman from that guy. Like, I didn't see what I saw that year. That dude was unbeatable that year.
Unreal.
One of the greatest college football seasons I've ever seen. Reggie Bush was one of the best college football players I've ever seen.
Yep, no doubt.
Didn't say one of the best pros, one of the best college football. And you're going to tell me that didn't happen? My eyes didn't see that. By the way, the Wendy's commercial that he does mocking that is brilliant. It's brilliant. But can we give him back his damn trophy now? Or is this one of those, well, he broke the rules when they were the rules. I know it would be legal now, but back then it wasn't.
So that's the interesting part about the last infractions thing that the NCAA has on its plate is Kansas still hasn't been touched for what their process in the wiretap stuff was. They're the only unresolved case from that.
Do tell me on this one.
They had a similar to an LSU. They got caught with a guy from Adidas funneling money into players
when it was illegal.
Yeah.
Think of all the coaches. Think of the Tony Blands and all the assistant coaches that got caught in this.
Right.
That their careers are done.
Yep.
See, to me, it was blatantly against the rules then. You're right. The rules have been changed and it's legal now. It was blatantly against the rules then.
Correct.
I just don't know that you can go back and say, but it's good now, so we're good. I struggle with that. I don't know, man. This was good today. This was good. Thanks for coming and doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ryan was in for JJ today. JJ's back tomorrow. DC, great stuff today.
It really was. We should do it tomorrow.
You want to come back and do this again tomorrow?
Face to face? Can we do that 2 days in a row?
We'll try.
Let's try.
I'll be here tomorrow morning.
I will too.
Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4 o'clock. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, show looks great. Great effort on your side. Adrian was at the Dodgers game this weekend. He was at Dodger Stadium. Yeah. Great work on your side, DC. Good show. Big day for you?
Always.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
Pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. Upstairs goes the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, LaCueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As LaCueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.